Alright, this is fight 272. This is in Hua Hin, at the Hua Hin Muay Thai gym, which is also a stadium. And my opponent is Nuafaa. Nuafaa means like north of the sky. And when I told her name to Songpam, he's like, that's a scary name, which is nice. The referees and officials that work at this, what is it called, promotion, they also work for Thai Fight. Like, I see them on TV. They fight on Fighter X. Like, I recognize them. So sometimes when I'm watching fights on TV on like Fighter X or something, I'm like, that guy refereed for me, which is kind of cool. I don't weigh in very often for fights. Like when I would fight up at Taipei and Chiang Mai, they have you weigh in when you get to the stadium at night. So it's literally like an hour or 2 hours before your fight. And they just want to put what your weight is for gamblers. So you don't check weight or anything like that unless it's for a title. This is during COVID times, and part of the government rulings for being able to have fight cards is that you have to take an ATK test. So I've been weighing in for my fights down in Hua Hin because it's part of the morning process. So it's the morning of the fight, it's the same day. You do an ATK test and you get weighed in the morning. And my opponent weighed in at 45.4, which I didn't actually see her on the scale, but that's what they wrote down, that's what they said her weight was. I weighed in at 46 because that's what I weigh. And if you look at her in the ring, she does not look smaller than me. Both Kevin and Songpam said they think she's actually slightly bigger than me, but it seemed as though she weighed in smaller than me on the scale. So I don't know if she tried to cut weight, if that's what she walks around at. 45.4 is actually what I weigh like after morning training. So we're very, very close weight-wise. She has a lot of size in her legs, which usually makes for heavy kicking, which I was paying attention to as I was looking at her before the fights. I didn't know anything about her. I couldn't find anything of her fights or anything like that online to even know whether she was Southpaw or Orthodox before we started, which sometimes I can see like pad work of one of my fighters or something. There's not a lot of like, I'm going to study my opponent. Sometimes you can find fights from your opponents, but not usually. A lot of times they're just like on their Facebook page, they live streamed or something, and so unless you know them, you're not seeing these things. The like studying your opponent is not something that I've ever really done. In my corner I have Krusan, who is very well known as being Krusan of Sitwanchai, but he's now at Elite Fight Club, and he's in the Muay Thai Library 2 times now. There he is, getting up to do my Moncon for me. He makes me look even smaller than I already feel. Down here on the right side of the screen, you can see this white glove. This is the ring doctor. He's been my doctor for a couple of these fights, and he really likes me. In the morning when he was doing my ATK test, he was very gentle. He didn't try to stab my brain out, which was nice. And he was very excited that I was fighting that night, so that was nice. All right, here we go. So again, I don't know what kind of style she is. I basically just have to go in and try to do whatever it is I've been working on and trying to do. I'm a little bit too far away. She has very fast right kick. Happily, that's not an open side kick, which is something that I kind of get in my head about. I don't struggle with it as much as I think I do, but I really get in my head about it. She's got a nice like teep to punch there. She's basically trying to control space and punish me when I step into the range that I actually want to be at. That was her open side kick, that was good too. You can see she's comfortable being near the ropes. This is our first little tangle up. When I threw her down and the ref pulled me off, he was laughing. He was like audibly laughing as he was pulling me off of her. And the reason for that is that in my last 2 fights in Hua Hin, I've been just throwing my opponents around. So he knows that this is something I'm going to be aiming for. That was a nice teep from me. Very fast. Trying to do a little bit of faking with my feet to set up for my kicks. I've been air kicking quite a lot, which I don't like. That was a nice kick from her. She actually caught me pretty well in the clinch here, but because I have this inside position on her chin, she can't really score well, and she just basically had to try to neutralize it. Oh, now she's starting to like teep my face. She teeped my face a couple of times, and then she made angry Sylvie, so I did get a little bit pissed off. Oh, there's an elbow. I had her here and I came over with it. There's a second elbow there. I tried to do Krusan's arm hook and then elbow, which he had just taught me a week before for the Muay Thai Library session that we filmed. I'm very happy that my elbows are coming out in fights now. For years and years, I was getting elbowed a lot, and I never elbowed back. I just couldn't make it happen in fights, and Kevin was always reassuring me. He's like, there's gonna be a day when your elbows just come out and it'll make up for all of the elbows that you took in these years. So now that's starting to happen, which is really good. I haven't been cut in quite a long time. I had quite a few people in my corner. Most of them were Sitmon Chai. There was a Sitmon Chai and Sasaprapa had fighters on this show, so they were all kind of in this continued row in front of me on the mats where we were getting ready. So I have a couple of Sasaprapa people, a couple of Sitmon Chai people, and in this crowd is Taksin Lek, who's a contemporary fighter. He's one of my favorite contemporary fighters, and I was kind of geeking out a little bit that he was in my corner. I was able to like keep my cool a little bit, but he had no idea that I knew who he was. I don't think he knows who I am. But I was like, oh my god, Taksin Lek's in my corner. You can see already she's a little bit stressed even from that first round. When we would get caught up in the clinch, I could feel that there was just a wide disparity in our strength at that range. So I was pretty sure that in the clinch, no matter what, I could control her. So it was basically a matter of like, how much can I control at a distance, which is where she has the advantage, versus how much do I want to come in and just clinch all the time where I know I have the advantage. I'm trying to work on my ability to control space at a distance more. Here we go. So I start going left, which is something that cuts off her power side. It basically shuts down her kick. So I'm trying to keep going left as much as I can, and she's basically going with it. She's pivoting off to her left as I'm doing that. Got her caught in the ropes here. Another teep to the face. Now I'm mad. That one hit. It's like a little clip up here. I have like a slight black eye from that. She's fighting really hard. I hit her in the head with a knee in this exchange when she was bent over for a second. She didn't react to it too much. I think she's freaked out, but she's not like showing any kind of damage from it. She has good instincts in the clinch. Like, she tries to close the distance really tight so that I can't land powerful shots. This is a good instinct in the clinch, but she can't do anything in it that would score points or kind of be an advantage for her. I'm trying to come in with this left hook that would have worked well if I had been going left in that moment, but I wasn't. I was a little bit too off to the side. These are Sylvie's clinch exchanges. I'm such a nightmare in the clinch. She knows that teep to the face is bothering me, and she basically turned it into her main bread and butter. Oh, she tried to throw an elbow at me there. That was good. I like that rip down. That made me happy. My corner's going crazy there. Her corner's not yelling, but they're signaling. I wasn't able to trip her there. I've been like just wrenching my opponents around for the past 2 fights, and they were bigger than her. They're bigger than me. But she stayed up really well when I was trying to trip her in the clinch. Her head is totally caught here though, and I landed a nice knee into her body. She's just trying to get away from me. See how she went all the way to the ropes? And then when she escapes, there's an elbow. She thinks she's gonna get air as she escapes out, and I just stay on her. This creates like a panic breathing situation. You can like really wear people out. So I caught her teep that she tried to teep my face. Caught it, she struggled, and I was able to land an elbow. I aimed lower, and she kind of ducked and ended up giving her a huge mouse right here. She got this count and continued. I was pretty sure she was not going to continue from that, and the fact that she got up and was going to fight again, I was really like, all right, this girl is strong, tough. Like, got up from that and was ready to keep going. But I was very happy to land that caught teep elbow. It was kind of like something I do to poor Yodkunpan like 6 days a week. He wears headgear and I don't throw it that hard, but I was really happy to have something that I've been working on in my training come forward so strongly in a fight. You can see her corner is trying to press the mouse down. He's like pushing here. It was really big. It was this big circular thing here. And after the fight, I was kind of like, if I had done an upward elbow rather than the fan sok, I think that I would have been able to either scare her enough that she wouldn't have gotten back up or knocked her out. There's a talk going on between the referee and her corner about whether she wants to continue, I think. After the fight, we took a photo together and we talked for a little bit. She was very strong. She was there with one of her teammates who also fought on this card. Both of them are very like strong, rhythmic. Like they have a total like composure in space that I want to have in space. Like she's backing up a lot because I come forward, but she has a composure in space that I really like. All right. Round 3. All the fights on this card were 3 rounds except for mine. I only fight 5 rounds, so I forced them to give me 5 rounds, even though everyone else is 3. It's a little hop in with a teep. That was good. Yodkunpan and Karahap both don't like my hop in, but it works, so I keep it. So in this round, I kind of slowed down a little bit. I knew from round 2 that I could knock her out, I could beat her, I could get her in the clinch anytime I wanted. That's an upward elbow there that I'm trying to make up for in my other one. So I slowed down a little bit and actually tried to teep her more. I was trying to do the like, you teep me a lot, I'm gonna teep you. But she's basically just trying to stay away from me at this point. She's still fighting, but she's just trying to keep me off of her. So a lot of her stuff is just backing up and teeping or kicking. And because I've slowed down, I'm just basically stalking her. So because I made this decision and I slowed down like this, I'm actually having more points scored against me. But once we get in here and her head is down and I'm landing these and she's just not able to get out, the referee knows that this is not going anywhere good and he calls it off. There's no reason to let someone actually get knocked out when you can see that that's where it's going. So that was the stoppage there. I demanded 5 rounds and only took 3 after all, I guess. That was Nuafaa. And thank you to everyone in my corner, Onyx MMA and Low Blow, my sponsors. I like that I have this many people in my corner because I travel alone to fights. It's just me and Kevin. We are in the car on the way out. We just fought at Hua Hin. This is fight 272, which is crazy. I fought a young woman named Nuafaa, which is, when I said her name to Yodkunpan, he said that's a scary name because it means like north of the sky. It means like the top of the top. It's like beyond best. Amazingly, she weighed in smaller than me. This fight was at 46, which usually with this promoter, if he tells me a weight, the girl will come in like a few kilos over that. I weighed in at 46 because that's what I walk around at, and she was 45.4. So I don't know if she cut for this or not, but she weighed in smaller than me. And it was knockout. So for those of you who always want the result in the post-fight update, that's that. Thank you to Sitmonchai, who cornered for me. That was awesome. Got to see Krusan and the team. And PA, who I didn't even recognize because he looks younger than the last time I saw him, which was kind of cool. But yeah, so fight 272, win by knockout, and we will have the fight up when we have it up, yeah? Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for supporting me always. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you to my sponsors, Low Blow and Onyx MMA in Singapore.